Jesus is King. We're going to talk about Kanye West's new album here in just a minute. Stay tuned.
You are now tuning in to Nico Santana on YouTube. I'm your host, Nico Santana, Colombian-American artist, content creator, and entrepreneur. Make sure to smash that like button and subscribe right now. Let's get into the good stuff.
What's going on, guys? My name is Nico Santana. Thank you for tuning into this video. Number one, you're on this channel. Go ahead and subscribe right now and smash that like button for me. I am a little under the weather, so pardon the lackluster emotion here. But I just wanted to touch on something real quick because it pertains to today. The new album by Kanye West has been released on digital platforms. Jesus is King. And I've been watching a couple of the interviews this morning, just trying to get a gauge exactly of what's going on. He did an interview with Big Boy, and that was released this morning. And then Hot 97 released an interview or a little segment of them talking about the new album and just kind of giving their insights on the whole journey. And you know, we can sit here and talk about the man, and we can sit here and talk about how much of a juxtaposition he has been culturally speaking within the past couple years. But I'm not going to sit here and try to condemn nor condone some of his actions. Simply, I'm just going to provide my insight and my opinion on the whole matter. So personally speaking, I grew up in the church. I grew up listening to hip hop when I moved from Colombia to Florida. That was the way and the manner in which I started to integrate into the American culture. I found comfort in knowing and understanding that there were people out there that went through something very similar in the sense of violence, poverty, economic struggle, obstacles, and that sort of thing, and rose from that situation. At least that's the way that it was depicted through their music. And so hip hop was pretty instrumental in my upbringing, but at the same time, it was something that was kind of destructive in a sense because it did glorify certain types of behavior and manners of living, which in a sense could be considered destructive. It's rebelling against certain norms, so I can understand where that's coming from. But if you live in that way, you either get locked up, killed, addicted to something happens, where we've seen it time and time again where that's happened to a lot of these young rappers, and it's sad to see. But nonetheless, there were times where hip hop really shone, and it's shown its mature side, it's shown its growth, its evolution. You had people like Talib Kweli, Mos Def, Common. In that case, you had Kanye West when he came out with Jesus Walks. And hearing these people and hearing these types of songs, DMX, Lord Give Me a Sign, when you heard Pastor Mace, when he became a pastor after going through the whole bad boy thing and leaving music for some time, it was kind of crazy to see people's journeys and self-discovery and spiritual awakenings, and in particular to apply Christianity and faith in Jesus in a manner and in a way where it showed that they were really trying to discover something about themselves as people and something about the greater, unknown, if you will. So I think this is Kanye's attempt at that spiritual awakening he once had, or perhaps even just the ongoing journey of his faith life. There's been a couple interviews that have been released this morning, like I said. And I know that there was one that he talked about, being addicted to porn and how that affected his artistry, and, now trying to reshape his life so that it's not guided by things, either fears or love of anything other than God. And it's really interesting because he is married to someone who has been controversially known for showing her body. And in a recent clip, he basically told her, like, yo, cover up. She's like, hey, I'm not on this journey, or I'm not there yet, or perhaps I'm not there on the same wavelength, and you pretty much propelled me to be this type of icon. So, give me some space, help me, or allow me to grow on my own, type of thing. And I get it, as someone who's been part of the church, who's grown up in the church, who's been, hypocritical himself, who's fallen short, who's done things that have glorified things that are counterintuitive, or at least counter to my faith. I get it, and I understand. I've done a lot of things in that same vein. But now, as a husband, as a father, trying to shed light on the world and my community and love other people and grow, and allowing myself to be vulnerable and authentic in front of you, it's interesting to see that same direction being taken by somebody who is a celebrity in Hollywood, and all obviously under a bigger microscope. But I really thought it was kind of cool just to see this be such a focal point on culture today, and particularly because the title is very outspokenly Christian, which is something that really doesn't get a lot of attention and is shunned in a lot of these, you know, mainstream circles. So it's cool to hear people's reactions and perspectives, and even some people talking about, yo, there's already Christian hip hop and it's popular, you know. Yo, what's crazy is that people like Mace, you know, came out with not a gospel album but a clean album, Welcome Back, years ago. You know, there's been, you know, people like the Cross Movement, Lecrae, Reach Records that have been making culturally relevant Christian music in the hip hop genre for years now. As recent as what, a couple years back, Clips broke up because Malice, you know, became himself a Christian, and you know, now he goes by No Malice, and so to see somebody turn this leaf, you know, so high up on their career, at least in a manner in which it garners the attention of the public, is really interesting. Bro, this man pulled out all the stops. He's got my boy Kenny G on there. I'm a fan. I love Kenny G, bro. This is insane. If you haven't heard the album, it's worth a listen. I'll admit, my favorite track so far from the first go around was Water. I really liked it. I got emotional on it. Yo, in short, Kanye, call me. Let's work. El Colombiano. How is this gonna play out with his career? I personally don't know. I've had that struggle myself in trying to make music that isn't counter to my faith. You know, is something that my family has their stamp of approval on, but at the same time is still generically recognizable to the degree where it's accepted by lots of viewers and lots of audiences, so that it can be, you know, it can create money and it can create support. With that said, go ahead and check out my Patreon at patreon.com/Nico Santana, where you have exclusive content, exclusive merchandise, giveaways, and things like that help me support this channel, help me to interact with my audiences on a more personal level, and help me continue making music to make an impact for my family, my community at large, and to continue helping me grow as a musician, as an individual, as a husband, father, so on and so forth. So thanks for listening. Nico Santana, leave a legacy for your kids and for your family. God bless.